Every so often, I'll come across an oddity that I just can't fit anywhere else, and so it gets its own wee little video. That's the deal with this poster. Apologies for the image quality, by the way. It's almost as if I didn't really plan this video or something. The poster is for the Central London Railway and exhorts passengers to come in here. It's as cool as a cucumber. The tube takes you right there. Presumably to the destinations on the map within the cucumber, not to the cucumber itself. Well, the Central London Railway would eventually become the central line of the London Underground, and if there's one thing it's notorious for, it is that it is not at all cool. In the summer, it's actually pretty unbearable. For a time, it was officially the hottest of the tube lines. A survey in 2023, though, indicated that it had been overtaken by the Victoria line. I think that doesn't feel quite so bad, though, because the journeys tend to be a lot quicker, so you're on there for less time. I have conducted no research into this. When was this poster printed? It must have been from before 1933, because that's when the Central London Railway ceased to exist. I'd also say that I think it dates from before the First World War, because in 1913, the Central London Railway was bought out by Underground Electric Railways of London. UERL owned several tube lines, and they liked to advertise the Underground as a whole entity. I feel like they probably would have put something about that on here. That's really more of a guess, though. Don't take that as some sort of smoking gun. The Central London Railway opened in 1900, so obviously it's after that. The map contained within the cucumber can help us narrow things down further. The station at the western end is Wood Lane. Now, this station opened in 1908 to serve the Franco-British exhibition, and it's a strong contender for the worst tube station ever built. It was here where the bus station is, just down the road from White City. The Central London Railway's depot was here as well. Those red brick buildings there are actually the railway's power plant. The depot predates the station. The station was just sort of crammed in next to it. There was so little space that they actually built a swivelling section of platform that they could move when a train had to go into the depot. In the book The Twopenny Tube by Graham Bruce and Desmond Croom, they compare it to a badly planned model railway. It lasted until 1947, when it was replaced by White City. The eastern end is Liverpool Street. The CLR got there in 1912. It was something of a bargain for them. The station would serve both the Liverpool Street terminus and the Broad Street terminus next door, RIP. Not only that, but the Great Eastern Railway, who owned Liverpool Street, let them build a station down there for free. The Great Eastern made most of their money from commuter trains, so they were well aware of the value of having that connection. The only proviso was that the CLR couldn't extend north or northeast, because that would encroach on the Great Eastern's turf. The line to Liverpool Street is depicted with a dotted line, which would seem to indicate that it was under construction at the time. If this is correct, that narrows our time frame right down. The extension was authorised in 1909, so we have a 3-year period. Possibly less. Construction actually began in mid-1910. Well, that's one mystery apparently solved. And what a short video that would make, so let's talk about the poster a bit more. There are some other differences I'd like to look at. There's a station called British Museum on the map. That was here in Holborn, and lasted until 1933. Basically, once the CLR and the Piccadilly line were both under the same umbrella, it didn't make a lot of sense to have two separate stations. So they put some Central Line platforms at Holborn and shut British Museum down. There's also a station called Post Office. That still exists, although since the 1st of February 1937 it's been called St. Paul's. The original name comes from the fact that it serves the headquarters of the General Post Office. At the time there was a totally different St. Paul's station, which is now Blackfriars. St. Paul's became Blackfriars the same day Post Office became St. Paul's. Clear? Good. The final difference is Queen's Road. That became Queensway in 1946. It's also one of the last surviving original Central London Railway buildings, if you like your tube architecture. One mystery is this. Interchange stations are represented by hollow circles, just as they are on the modern tube map. But hold on, this means Bond Street is listed as an interchange, which appears to be an error. Until 1979, when the Jubilee line got there, the Central line was the only line through there. Anyway, since the 1910s, the Central line has definitely heated up. There are many reasons for that. The tube is a lot more crowded than before. There's a lot more electrical equipment down there. And, frankly, you are in a narrow pipe surrounded by clay. An interesting reason I've heard involves some other extensions of the old Central London Railway. In 1920, the CLR got to Ealing Broadway. In 1948, the now Central Line was extended to West Ruislip, and in 1949 to Ongar. This meant that there was now a large proportion of the line that was out in the open air, as opposed to the almost completely underground line that existed when this poster was printed. So what happens now in the summer is that the sun beats down on the train, heats it up, then the train dives into a confined space and makes it everyone's problem, which is decidedly not cool. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this cucurbitaceous tale from the tube. If so, please do leave a like and consider subscribing for more. I would like once again to thank my donors on Ko-fi, on Patreon, and here on YouTube for your generous support. You are the cold frame to my prize vegetables. And I will see you all again very soon. Cheerio.